What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on our live show, we're going to be deep diving into a Jacksonville Jaguars preview and what the Minnesota Vikings need to get done if they want to, continue this little one-game win streak that they got last week versus Indianapolis Colts. We also got some big-time injury updates around Blake Cashman and also Trevor Lawrence. T-Law is actually a little banged up, so we get you guys information there. But speak about the Jags. If you guys want the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend, just give me a SKOL down below in the comments section. Shot the lantern saying, anyone like the Jags / Vikings preview about their secondary? Jags don't have good defense whatsoever. It's honestly one of the worst groups in the National Football League, so I expect the Vikings, to have a very, very good game offensively. And if they don't, we're definitely going to have some concerns. But shout out to David. Shout out to Steve. Nikki J. Ward saying, SKOL Pat, how was your day? Today is an awesome day. Nikki, woke up feeling good. So shout out to you for tuning in. Evan R. saying SKOL. Cole Hoskins saying SKOL. It's Carter, Astro, Craig, Summer Collier, Perry, Rocky, Arpin, 8, saying still waiting for Blake Cashman to get back. I think he's going to be back this week, at least the way Kevin O'Connell was talking. Then Scoliosis saying Jags, just average guys. I love that. I have not heard that before. Shout out to you, Scoliosis. Also a great name. But speaking about the trade deadline, were you guys upset that the Vikings didn't make a trade yesterday? Give me Y for yes or give me an M for no down below in the comment section. Shout out to Jeff Bishop. Appreciate you in the chat, man. Listen, I wasn't too upset that the Vikes stayed put yesterday. If they didn't make a move for Cam Robinson and they were rolling out with Blake Brandel at left tackle, Dalton Risner left guard, then I would have been upset they didn't make a move. But guys, they traded for a backup running back in Cam Akers, who looked very good against the Colts, and then Cam Robinson. Traded a fourth-round pick for him necessarily. I thought he looked very good as well. So I'm not really upset about the Vikings not making any moves. Yes, I would have liked them to go get a Calais Campbell type of player. But, then again, the Vikings trades already made already went down, in the weeks prior. So I understand a lot of Vikings fans wanted them to go all in on this season. But, hey, now we just have that first-round pick for next year, multiple draft picks in 2026. So, honestly, I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. Arpin saying, I'm still worried about that interior offensive line. I am, too. I mean, they struggled against the Colts, but also the Colts have one of the best interior defensive lines in the league. Stewart, he is a stud. And then also, DeForest Buckner has been one of the better players in the league over the last couple of years. So, hopefully this week against the Jags, it's not that good of an interior defensive line. Hopefully they're able to get some momentum and have that kind of carry on throughout the rest of the year. Because, if we're looking forward to, the game in Tennessee, hopefully the Vikings interior offensive line, doesn't struggle so much against a guy like Jeffrey Simmons who can absolutely game wreck that game. So just, keep your eyes out there for that. All eyes will be on Bradbury, Brandel, and Ingram this weekend. And honestly, for the rest of the year, in my opinion, that's the weakest position group on the entire team. I know people wanted a defensive lineman, people wanted a cornerback, but I still feel like the interior of our offensive line is really where our Achilles heel is. So, we'll dive into more here in a second. But first off, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app today, use promo code ChatSports. You guys will get $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Just plug in promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. It's the best ticket purchasing app out there. So give them a look. But shout out for Game Time for sponsoring today's show. What time is it? It is game time. Now, I also want to tell you guys about another sponsor on today's show, and that actually is Prize Picks. If you guys are trying to put a little more bread back in your pocket by watching either a basketball, football game, Prize Picks is the best way to do so. And if you guys head to prizepicks.com/CONS, plug in promo code CONS, you guys will get $50 instantly. That is $50 instantly when you just play a $5 lineup. But plug in promo code CONS at prizepicks.com/CONS. But shout out to them for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, we asked this question on our trade deadline live yesterday, and I got a ton of very interesting answers. So I want you guys to get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this. Pick one former Vikings player to add to this team. Whether that's a guy like Adam Thielen, who's still in the league, a guy like Danielle Hunter, who is still in the league, or if you guys want to go back in time, go like Adrian Peterson, Randy Moss, John Randall. You guys just let me know your thoughts down below. Yesterday, I came up with my final list. It was, I think, John Randall would be number one. just because you would have a blue chipper, a Hall of Fame player at the interior of your defensive line. I said Adrian Peterson, number 2. I love Aaron Jones, but, I mean, a prime AP, I mean, nothing would beat him. Number 3 for me, who did I have at number 3? Because I had one of the Williams brothers at 4 and 5. Maybe if one of you guys say it in the chat. Yeah, Alan Page would be another great one. Oh, Xavier Rhodes. Yeah, 2017 Xavier Rhodes would be another guy I would add to this ball club. Could you imagine just having a lockdown corner out there with Brian Flores? Z Cool saying Chris Carter. You know, imagine Randy Moss. You would just put Randy Moss, Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I mean, that would be the best tandem and trio of all time. Elizabeth saying Fran Tarkenton. That's not a bad choice either, Elizabeth. Shout out to you. You could also even go like 2009 Brett Favre. I don't think that's a bad choice. I think 2009 Brett Favre was, and again, I'm a younger Vikings fan, so I didn't get to watch Fran Tarkenton back in the day, but like 2009 Brett Favre, I think, is the best quarterback season we have ever seen in the history of a Minnesota Vikings quarterback. You could also go, Dante Culpepper as well. That's not a bad one. Roger, if I had to pick 2, I would just take the Williams wall and just put them in the interior of the offensive line. Aaron saying never Favre. Yeah, Favre's got a lot of interesting stuff going on in his life right now. But Arpin 8 saying 2009 Favre minus that terrible pass over the middle. Of course, minus that terrible pass over the middle. I had a terrible thought last night when I was falling asleep. I was like, could you imagine an NFC Championship game? You know, we talked about like Darnold. Is he kind of like Brett Favre? And he definitely has that in him. Could you imagine if Darnold throws across his body with the chance to kick a game-winning field goal to go to the Super Bowl, and it's just, literally a direct replica of 2009. Hate putting that out there, but I just had to let you guys, know my thoughts. But we will be getting into a mailbag here in about 40 minutes or so. So if you guys got a question, put in the live chat your question with hashtag Vikings, or if you guys want a super chat to get on the show automatically, that is the number one way to do so. And of course, we always appreciate all of your guys' generous contributions to help, keeping the lights on here at Chat Sports. So question for me, hashtag Vikings, or if you guys want to guarantee your spot on our mailbag, just send in a super chat. But coming up on today's show, that's fresh. We are going to be diving into our Vikings versus Jags preview. We got some big-time injury news around Trevor Lawrence, Blake Cashman. Hopefully Cashman's back this week, but again, I'm still weary of that turf toe injury, as that is a injury that can definitely linger. And then Colin Cowherd, he put out his top 10 teams in the NFL, and I'll spoil it for you guys. The Minnesota Vikings were left off that list. I was just baffled when I saw that. So we'll dive into that, and then wrapping up today's show with our mailbag and also explaining to you guys the Vikings will beat the Jaguars if they do the following. So we'll dive into that all on today's live show. And if you guys are also ready to go, hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video. We're at 35 likes right now. Once we get the 40 likes, we'll dive into our Vikings versus Jaguars preview. Is my man Garrett Rustborough coming in with a $5 super chat saying, the Vikes will be fine. The offseason will be very interesting. If I see Ingram/Bradbury in purple next season, I will start a riot. SKOL. Garrett, 100%. I think the Vikes will be fine. This offseason is when the Vikings are going to go all in. I already have my kind of too early number one free agent target. Is actually a guy that a lot of Vikings fans wish they traded for during the deadline, and a guy like DJ Reed. But, I would probably go corner. The Vikings are 100% going to address corner in the offseason. It just depends on how heavy. Yeah, I'm just plugging in a fan here real quick. No, you're good, bro. Yeah, we're all set. I just bent down right there. You guys just saw me get real red. Garrett, I think the Vikes will be fine as well. Yeah, that's cool. Appreciate it. Roger Bong also saying, yes, you promised I would like the show. And yes, I do. Let's go. Shout out to Roger Bong, another $5 super chat. We appreciate you, Raj. I'm fired up for this weekend, man. It's going to be a good game. We're going to be back in actually self-produced bag for this weekend, so you guys are going to see me throw it back to last year. But, yeah, Raj, shout out to you, man. You're always showing love. You're always in this live chat early, and it definitely goes noticed, so we appreciate you. Vikings fan 28, 84, 97 saying, I would love to see Nudie McLovin on the field. Yeah, I would too. I just don't know, who is he playing over? You're not trusting a UDFA over a guy like Shaq Griffin, Byron Murphy, Stephon Gilmore. If the Vikings had a need at that third cornerback spot, even then it would probably go to Caleb Evans over Dwight McGlothern. But, that's a guy where I think, we may not notice him, first couple of years, but if he just keeps developing in the Vikings system, clearly they like him. They kept the UDFA corner on their 53-man roster. Clearly they have a plan for him in the future. So, I understand what you guys are saying about Dwight McGlothern, but, we'll see. We'll see if he gets out there on the field this weekend. Joey Tana getting a question in there. I appreciate you. But we're going to dive into today's show. Vikings-Jags preview. It's going to be an in-depth one. So we'll get you everything we need to know on there. Hey, 5 likes away from 50. If you guys could, hit that thumbs up icon. But no hate on Vikings. Support them like you on – all right, Old Red. Shout out to you, man. All right, let's do it. We're going to dive into our Vikings-Jags preview right now. What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, a full in-depth preview of this Week 10 game where the Minnesota Vikings are traveling to Florida to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what are we going to be discussing on today's show? Well, we got some big-time injury news. Blake Cashman, Trevor Lawrence. Could they be playing this weekend? We'll tell you guys about that. And then what have the Jacksonville Jaguars been doing this season? Where do they rank offensively, defensively? We'll get to that. And also keys to victory, what the Vikings need to do to get a win in Jacksonville. And then I'll give you guys my score prediction, as I think this could possibly be a blowout for our Minnesota Vikings. But hey, if you guys want the Vikings to beat the Jaguars this weekend, hit that thumbs up icon. I put the goal on today's show as 1,000 likes. I expect you guys to knock that out of the park. So if you guys could, hit that thumbs up button. Show some love here on the channel if you guys want the Vikes to beat the Jags this weekend. All right, let's start off with the main injury news here that I'm sure everybody's dying to know. What's the great news around Blake Cashman? Because the Vikings definitely need him out there this weekend. And we actually do have a report from Kevin O'Connell where he said that Blake Cashman should be ready to go this weekend. We got that report here. Kevin O'Connell, he is optimistic about linebacker Blake Cashman playing versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be huge news for the Vikes. We've talked about it, how impactful he is on the field for our Minnesota Vikings, and he has had a great start to the season. Not only is the guy that wears the green dot, he is an elite communicator. He gets this defense set up to make plays on every single down, and PFF has graded him out very, very well. Out of 157 linebackers, he's top 25 in 3 of these 4 categories. Overall grade, 75.6. Run defense grade, 78.2. Coverage grade. This is the key right here, because the one thing about Ivan Pace that he does not do well is cover in space. Blake Cashman's one of the best ones in the league at that, ranking 21st out of 157 eligible linebackers. But, not only Blake Cashman being back for this defense just helps the unit as a whole, I think it specifically helps Ivan Pace. So right here, Ivan Pace's last 3 games without Blake Cashman, he has not graded out well. 47 overall grade versus the Lions, 65.5 grade versus the Los Angeles Rams, and then this past weekend, only a 55.5 overall grade. Again, all of these without Blake Cashman. But if we kick it back to when Ivan Pace and Blake Cashman were on the football field, he had that one down game against the San Francisco 49ers, where he had a 40.1 overall grade. But the other 2 games, that's when we saw Pace at his peak. Against the Giants, 82.2. Against the Jets, 79.2. So Blake Cashman could come back this weekend. This would be great news for Vikings fans, and I'm really hoping he does, because he's honestly turning into one of my favorite players to watch on this football team. But we also got some more great news for the Vikings. How about this? This was a shocker to me. This morning, Doug Peterson told reporters that QB Trevor Lawrence is dealing with some upper body soreness, and Beathard could be insurance for that. The Jags actually signed C.J. Beathard to their 53-man roster. Could be a little indication on how severe this injury is. And then Mac Jones is actually the backup. And, Mac Jones, even though he hasn't, lived up to the 13th, 15th overall pick a couple drafts ago, he is still a serviceable backup in the NFL. This is not like you're going against, the Dolphins, where they go, from Tua to Skylar Thompson. To me, it really shouldn't, and it doesn't matter who is playing quarterback for Jacksonville this weekend. The goal of, playing defense versus the Jaguars is you got to cause havoc. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. And, whether it's Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, who also Trevor Lawrence has not had that good of a start to this year. I feel like he is just living off that reputation of being like the number one player in his high school class, number one draft pick coming out of college. He looks nothing like that. Honestly, he looks like he doesn't really care to be out there. And with the Jags kind of playing worse and worse and worse, I could see this upper body soreness, keeping him out multiple games, because why is he going to rush himself back? I think that's kind of the mentality Trevor Lawrence has. So, whether it's Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, I think the Vikes will be fine, this weekend. But we also have some unfortunate news. This is a kicker, man. This was a kicker talking about a kicker. That was a good one by me. Good stuff. But Will Reichard was placed on IR. Just a kick in the balls on that one. But, he was 14 of 16 on field goals this season. He hit one from 58. He also hit one from 57. So he was awesome. They did sign John Parker Romo to be the kicker for the next 4 games. So Will Reichard being put on IR, dealing with that right quad injury. Hopefully he'll be back, really when the Vikings, honestly, I would hold him off until it's probably week 17 versus the Packers. That would probably be, how long I hold him out for. He's 100% healthy, for this playoff run for the Vikes. But actually, former Viking Ezra Cleveland popped up on the early injury report for the Jaguars. He is dealing with an ankle injury. Funny enough, guys, this man right here has turned himself into one of the better offensive linemen in the league. I think the Vikings got like a 5th-round pick for him last year, if I'm certain on that. So Ezra, he should be out there ready to go, but he is dealing with an ankle. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars here. A little deep dive. What have they been doing this season as they have struggled? I mean, I had the Jags competing with the Texans in the AFC South, and it is just completely imploded on this football team. So let's start off offensively. They don't really rank well at anything. They are a definite better passing offense than they are a rushing team. And, we did see a little bit of a successful Jags offense when they did have Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne in there. I think they're a very dynamic backfield. But, a guy who has struggled this season, and honestly, I feel like the stats don't really do it justice, is Trevor Lawrence. Only 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 61% completion percentage. This dude, he just struggles, man. And I feel like he's one of those guys where, once the team starts going on a downhill trajectory, like, he just continues to play worse and worse and worse game to game, because I think he just kind of mentally checks out. Like, this dude's probably already planning his vacations, heading to Cancun this upcoming offseason. I just don't really think he cares. So whether it's T-Law or Mac Jones, Vikings should be successful. But no matter who's in that quarterback, you got to contain this guy. Brian Thomas Jr., he is one of the best rookie wide receivers we have seen over the last couple of years. He's off to a hot start, already almost 600 yards in only 8 games played for him. He is a deep threat with the football. He can get behind you. He is a freak athlete. So he is my one concern about this team. And then also, they got some good running backs, man. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. They are a dynamic duo. And, we saw the Vikes struggle with Gibbs and Montgomery. And, these guys aren't nearly as explosive as those two are, but they can definitely be effective on the ground. They're starting to lean more into Tank Bigsby over the last couple of weeks, so expect him to get a whole lot of run this weekend. But defensively for the Jags, this is brutal right here. I'm pretty sure Ed Donatell's calling plays for the Jags defense this year, but, obviously kidding on that one. But they're ranking, damn near 31st in every statistical category, giving up 28 points per game, giving up over 400 yards per game. They're susceptible to be thrown on as well. And, listen, this is one of the worst units in the entire NFL. Like, I really do think an offensive masterclass could be coming for the Vikes, and I think every weapon should eat on Sunday. Like, every player prop that's available for Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, Aaron Jones, you should take them all, because weapons have killed this Jags defense throughout the past. And, they just don't have the corners. They don't have the linebackers to just win one-on-one matchups. So really this is going to come down to Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell. If they're good enough this weekend, the Vikings should easily score 30+. But, hey, if you guys want the Vikes to score 30+ this Sunday, just give me a SKOL down below in the comments section. Get rowdy down there for me. Get the good vibes going. So if you guys want the Vikes to score 30+ this Sunday, just give me a SKOL down below. Now, coming up next on today's show, we're going to be going over my keys to victory and my score predictions. So stay tuned for that. But first, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app today, plug in promo code ChatSports, you guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply. Again, create an account, first purchase only. Plug in promo code ChatSports, you guys will get $20 off. Now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time is the #1 way to get any ticket to any concert, sporting event, whatever it may be. Even though the Vikings are on the road for the next 3 weeks, if you guys want to go check them out when the Cardinals and Falcons come to town, and actually the Bears, Game Time is the best way to do so. They also got views from your seat feature, which gets you a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So key to victory #1 for me, and this might be #1 every single week until this man has over 100 yards in a game. It's got to be free Jordan Addison, because we started to see it last week, him really starting to get comfortable, him really starting to get going. And, he did find the end zone last week on that unbelievable one-handed catch. But, his numbers on the year, they got to be better. This should be around 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. And honestly, if Sam Darnold would look his way more than he has, he probably would be at those numbers. So Jordan Addison, #1 for me, free 3, get him the football, get him more involved in this offense, because if you go to Jacksonville and you lose and he doesn't do a whole lot, I guarantee you we might see another free 3 Instagram post, coming our way next week. But #2 for me, it should be a coaching masterclass by the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, they have to out-scheme them. And, I was just talking about it. The Vikings going to have the weapons on the outside. They should win every one-on-one opportunity, whether it's Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, Aaron Jones. The weapons should be in full effect. Kevin O'Connell's got to get them open. Then Brian Flores, just do what you did last week. You were awesome against the Indianapolis Colts. You didn't allow them to get in the red zone one single time. So I expect the same, to come to fruition this weekend. And, we already kind of talked about it, but you got to limit Brian Thomas Jr. The Vikings lose this game if Brian Thomas Jr. has multiple 30-yard chunk plays where he is just, maybe he turns a 10-yard in route, he breaks tackle, he gets up the sideline for 50 yards. He has that pop. He has that playmaker ability. And you see where he went to college? He went to LSU. There is just something in the water down there, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Jamar Chase, our very own Justin Jefferson. It is truly, truly staggering how good LSU has been producing NFL caliber wide receivers. And speaking about NFL caliber LSU wide receivers, the 18 effect. And this week I'm going to focus in on one thing, because Jefferson has been awesome this season. He's leading the league in receiving yards, and he's only played 8 games. And actually Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson have both played 9. So this right here, I guarantee you Jefferson's going to be #1 at the end of the season. But I'm not saying I don't want to get Jefferson the ball this weekend, but if there was a weekend where he just kind of takes the game off, he kind of is more used as a decoy, and you let the other guys eat, I think this would be it. So even if Jefferson, if he only goes for 42 yards, 6 catches or whatever it may be, we will feel his impact out there. So the 18 effect, if he's one-on-one, of course, throw him the football. But if he's not, let these other guys eat, specifically, Jordan Addison. But #5 for me, the Vikings lose this game if they turn the ball over and pre-snap penalties come back to bite them in the tail. So last week, the Vikings had 0 pre-snap penalties. They had to only use 1 timeout when a false start was coming, but the turnovers last week, 3 turnovers. Now, you can still turn the ball over against the Jags and win, but if you get in a playoff game versus the Lions or the Packers, who the Vikings are finishing out their season playing, you would turn the ball over against those guys. You will not win that football game, especially in the kind of the way Sam Darnold did last week. He had 3, his turnovers weren't even bad turnovers. They were horribly timed turnovers. You get the turnover on the first drive, Darnold throws a pick in the end zone. You're driving down the field. He ends up fumbling the football, goes for 6 the other way. And then also, you finally get the ball back in the 4th quarter. You have a chance to go put the game away. He throws another pick. So that can't happen this weekend. But if you limit turnovers and penalties, we should be good to go this Sunday. But, hey, I'll ask you guys this. Who you got? Give me a V for the Vikes or give me a J for the Jaguars. I'm going to hear your thoughts down below. I'm expecting to see a whole lot of V's down below in the comment section. Now, I got the Vikings in a blowout this weekend. I think it's going to come our way. I'm going to have them winning 37-13. I just think this is a complete mismatch on both sides of the field. And if the Vikings just do what they're supposed to do, this should be a big-time victory. So I'm going 37-13. And also, you guys want to give me a follow on Twitter. Just crossed over 1,000 followers, so shout out to you guys on that one. Handle is at Pat Sieps. But give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. We'll see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes. Alrighty, who you guys got? Shout out to Sandy, M. Mac, Lawrence, Expired Mana, Lawrence Lee, It's Carter, M. Mac, Harvey Buxton saying, I think we might shut them out. I mean, there's a chance. I mean, if Mac Jones plays, I fully expect them, the defense to have a massive, massive game. So we got Roger coming in, $5 saying, Sammy Big D needs to free 3. I'm going to take that this weekend. I'm going to incorporate that into a call. Like if Jordan Addison scores a touchdown, like Sammy Big D, he freed 3 or like something like that. Raj, I love that. I'm gonna take that from you. We appreciate that. But Garrett saying on paper this should be a blowout. However, this is the Vikings. They'll find a way to keep this game close. Not being negative, just being realistic. Hey, I mean, if you look at the past, no doubt that has kind of been their track record. In a game they're supposed to win, in a game they're supposed to kill them, something always comes back to haunt this football team. But we're going to be getting into a mailbag in about 30 minutes or so. Again, hashtag Vikings in the live chat. Or if you guys want to super chat, just like my man Roger and Garrett did, great way to help support the show. But, hey, we appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Oh, you're good. Yeah, I'd probably say just ignore that when we're in a cup, but yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys got a question, hashtag Vikings or super chat to get on today's show. Purple City going TJ Hawkinson 2 touchdowns. That would be nice. Get Hawks some momentum going into the tail half of the season. It's also so crazy. We're at week 10, man. Double-digit weeks. Enjoy every game. It's going to be a quick finish to the season. Can't wait, though. I mean, the Vikings are in a really good spot, 6-2. Some people don't think they're, playing too well this year. And we're going to talk about that here in a second, but please don't be deaf. I got you, Rod. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. All righty. If you guys are ready to go, though, we're going to dive into what the main man, Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd, what did he have to say around the Minnesota Vikings? Yeah, we're going to dive into it. Let's get it. What's going on, guys? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Coming up on today's show, what did this man right here, Colin Cowherd, had to say about the Minnesota Vikings? Or actually, it's kind of what he didn't have to say about the Minnesota Vikings, as they kind of caught some disrespect from the man at Fox Sports. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I want to ask you guys this, a little fun question. If you guys had to pick one former Vikings player to add to this team, who would it be? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. It could be an active player like a Daniel Hunter, Adam Thielen. Could be like an Adrian Peterson, John Randall, Phil Loldholt, whoever it may be. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. All right, let's dive into it. Colin Cowherd's top 10 NFL teams heading into Week 10. You got the Green Bay Packers. The Vikes beat them. You got the Chargers, Steelers, Commanders, Eagles. Oh, Niners are on there. Vikes beat them. Then you got the Bills, Ravens, Lions, and Chiefs. When I saw this, I honestly thought the production crew, the producer at Fox Sports, just got this wrong and they left off a team. But this is a joke. Like the fact that these are his top 10 teams in the league, and you got teams like the Chargers, Steelers, Eagles, Niners ahead of the Minnesota Vikings. And he actually said if he had to add an 11th team to this, it wouldn't be the Minnesota Vikings. It would be the Houston Texans. This is a joke. So I'm going to go into each one of these teams right here that I think the Vikings should be ranked higher than. And let's dive into them. Let's start off with the team that the Vikes already beat. The 49ers love has just gotten absolutely ridiculous. Like, they lost Brandon Ayuk. They are getting McCaffrey back this week. I understand that the last couple of years in the NFC, they have been the standard. They have been the team to beat. That's not this year. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. He's not great. Kyle Shanahan is a great head coach. Their defensive coordinator, he's all right. Like, I just don't understand the 49ers love. I frankly think it's ridiculous. I think this is just guys, like, being scared of what the Niners did in the past and then being able to, really turn around this season. But, like, the Vikings, like, they beat this team. They didn't, like, not only did they beat them, they handled them through all 4 quarters. And if it wasn't for Fred Warner, heroic play, multiple heroic plays from Fred Warner, Vikings probably beat them 34-10. And the Packers, they were ranked at 10th on Cowherd's top 10 teams. Maybe I'm wrong here. You guys let me know down below in the comment section. I'm pretty sure the Vikings went to Lambeau early on this season and beat Green Bay. And not only beat them, they were up 28-0. Like, I just don't get what he is going through when he's like kind of like a checklist, like, oh, this makes a top 10 team. This makes a top 10 team. Like, do the games not matter? Are we just still only looking at what teams did in the past couple of years? I don't get it whatsoever. And I can make the same argument for the Eagles. Yes, the Eagles have played much better as of late. Like, I'm not going to regard that. But the fact that you got them ahead of the Minnesota Vikings, I think is a joke. And, I think the Eagles, they got a typical case of I call this like the Madden team. Like, oh, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Like, yeah, they are great on paper. And, they're top half of the league team. But I don't think they're a top 10 team. I think they have the worst head coach in the National Football League. This man right here, he is going to lose the Eagles a playoff game. And you know what? I would love for the Vikings to go to Philadelphia this season in the playoffs. I hope the Eagles win that division. And maybe it's the Vikings are the 6 seed, Eagles are the 3 seed, and we go in there and we absolutely whoop on Nick Sirianni and that joke of a football team. But, we also had this team. The Pittsburgh Steelers ranked ahead of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I like Mike Tomlin. I think he's a really good coach. I thought Russell Wilson, he's been playing his tail off lately, but who have the Steelers beat? Like, look at their wins this season. Week 1 against the Falcons. Yes, that's a good win. That's a good football team down there in Atlanta. But that was Kirk's first game in a brand new offense coming off a torn Achilles. And then, they beat the Broncos. Oh, they beat the Chargers. We'll talk about the Chargers here in a second. But then they beat the Raiders. Oh, they beat the Jets. They barely beat the Giants. Like, everybody was freaking out about the Vikings barely beating the Colts. The Steelers had the same exact game in Week 8 versus the Giants. I just don't understand it. And another team who hasn't beat anybody, the Chargers. I love Harbaugh. I love Justin Herbert. And maybe the Cowherd just put the Chargers on there because he has Jim Harbaugh on his show every once in a while. So he's just going to show, some sort of love to him. But who have the Chargers are 5-3. And look at their 5 wins. The Raiders could be picking first in the draft. The Panthers could be picking first in the draft. The Saints and the Browns could be picking first in the draft. I just don't understand it. Yeah, they beat the Broncos. Congratulations. They beat a rookie Bo Nix. And his whole argument was, they got the number 1 scoring defense in the league. Can you name one good offense on this list? Point it out to me. Terrible offense, terrible offense, terrible offense, terrible offense, terrible offense. Let's be real here. I think this is embarrassing for Cowherd. This being your list after Week 9 of the top 10 teams in the league, and you got the Chargers, Steelers, Niners, Eagles, Packers, all ahead of the Vikings. I wanted to dive into the Commanders, but you know what? He can have that one. You can have Chiefs, Lions, Ravens, Bills, obviously. But man, Cowherd, you're better than this. I watch you all the time. There's gotta be somebody in his ear saying, take this effing graphic off the screen. This is a joke. Let's redo this. I just think it's a joke. But we'll ask you guys this. The Vikings are the blank best team in the NFL. I think they're 5th right now. I think you got to go Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Lions, and then the Vikings are probably 5 for me. That's where I would put them. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Now, the Vikings are getting disrespected, and I love it. I'm going to explain to you guys why I think this is great for the Minnesota Vikings here in a second. But first, let's show some love to today's sponsor, and that's going to be Prize Picks. If you guys download the Prize Picks app today, plug in promo code CONS, you guys will get $50 instantly when you play $5. And the best part is you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award and winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You guys can run your game all season long on Prize Picks, put your basketball, football knowledge to the test, and create lineups for any single game you watch. So if you guys download the app today, use promo code CONS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code CONS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks, though, for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, run your game. Vikings, fans, players, coaches, whoever's listening, nobody believes in you. You guys could win out for the rest of the season. Nobody is going to believe in you. And you look at the Vikings' next 5 games. I'm going to call something here real quick. There is going to be a whole lot of talk about Vikings don't play anybody. Their schedule's been super easy this year. They're going to disregard what the Vikings did in the first 5 weeks like that. Because you're going to go into Jacksonville, you're going to beat the hell out of the Jaguars. You're going to go into Tennessee, you're going to smack around the Titans. I think the Bears, honestly, normally I'm nervous about going to Chicago. They're a dumpster fire over there. You're going to beat the Cardinals. You're going to beat the Falcons. You're going to win 5 games in a row. Vikings, I guarantee you, are going to be 11-2, and they will get no respect. Vikings don't play anybody. Remember I said that. We're going to hear that a whole lot over the next couple of weeks. Oh, who have the Vikings beat? They don't play anybody. Just wait. So if I was Kevin O'Connell, I would take that picture I saw, and I would put that all over the locker room. Be like, nobody believes in you still. And, honestly, I was thinking about this. I don't think the Vikings will get any love until the Super Bowl. Like, I guarantee you, even if the Vikes go out there and they go 13-4, I honestly could see Cowherd leaving them out of his top 10 list. And even if you go win a couple playoff games and you're in Detroit, you're going to be 7-point underdogs. Every single talking media head out there will pick the Detroit Lions over the Minnesota Vikings. And I absolutely love it. And you know what one guy who I was thinking about specifically, who has to be so pissed off about this, who is the true definition of a game changer at a premium position in the NFL? This guy right here. He's not just a good weapon. He really does stack wins for a team. He is the best route runner in the league. He is the best 50-50 ball guy in the league. He is the overall best receiver, best deep threat. He is really one of the most impactful players in the National Football League. 48 receptions, 783 yards. The dude's almost averaging 100 yards per game. And some people are calling this a down year for Justin Jefferson. He hasn't had less than 80 yards in a game since week 1. This is truly one of the most, and I'm not just calling this as Jefferson's the best receiver in the league right now. I actually think he's going to be the best receiver of this century. I think he's going to be better than Megatron. I think he's going to be competing with Randy Moss and Jerry Rice as the best receiver of all time. He is that impactful out there on the football field. And you know what this all stems back to? People just not believing in Sam Darnold. Like, I guarantee you're going to hear it all the time. Any playoff game the Vikings have. Oh, do we trust Sam Darnold going against Kirk Cousins and the Falcons? Can we trust Sam Darnold going on the road in Philly? Can we trust Sam Darnold to win one playoff game? You're going to hear this conversation for the rest of the season, and I love it. Because you know what? That chip that is on a whole lot of players' shoulders in this Vikings locker room, it's just going to keep on stacking. It's just going to keep on stacking. And specifically this man right here, I can't wait for the rest of the season, man. But, hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a SKOL down below in the comment section. I want to see a whole lot of SKOLs flowing in as I got kind of fired up on that video. It just pissed me off what Cowherd had to say. But give me a SKOL down below if you guys made it to the end. And also, I'm on Twitter, @PatSieps is the handle. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. But see you guys next time. SKOL Vikes. Oh, that was shocking from Cowherd right there, fellas. Shout out to Luke, Roger, Sammy Big D. I love that, Raj. CJH saying SKOL. Garrett saying damn Pat. What is the damn Pat about, Garrett? Andy Carr saying right now we play the Cardinals in the first round. Yeah, that I would love that. If the Cardinals somehow won that division, that would be awesome. Was Zazy in the building? Shout out to you. Vikings, Sandy Weber. Shout out to all of you guys tuning in. Yeah, Garrett, I just cannot believe Cowherd had that. Shout out to Tim Lindsay saying pretty spot on take. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's it's just typical. Big media heads are not going to believe in this team. no matter what they do. No matter what they do. And honestly, that's how I'd like it. So we are going to be getting into a mailbag here, the second half of this next show. So hashtag Vikings, or if we're in the middle of the cut, if you guys super chat, we'll get it up on screen. We'd really appreciate if you guys got your thoughts in the comments section. Shout out to Luke, though. Joey Tana. Luke saying W YouTuber. You're a W commenter, Luke. I appreciate you. And Vikings as well. Sandy. Garrett saying, I agree with you on everything you said. I didn't expect that much fire out of you. Well, honestly, I just want Cowherd to do better. Like, he's got to have a Vikings guy in his ear. Cowherd, if you're watching this, take me on your show. I'd love to come on. SKOL Pat, SKOL Rocky, SKOL Pat Dad, SKOL Roger saying SKOL. Vikings saying, I love watching your videos. You're the best. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. Very, very kind words from you guys today. I appreciate it. But, we are going to be talking about the Jags game here one more time, and then we're going to get it into a mailbag here in a second. So, it's going to be a ton of fun. Excited to break it down. Yeah, just 12 and up. Yeah. Appreciate you. Tim Lindsay would really love to hear CC's rebuttal to that. Yeah, I was looking for Chris Carter going on the Stephen A. show. I have not seen anything. How do I feel standing all day? Definitely get a little tired. Mainly just during the watch parties. Standing up for like 5 hours is definitely a little tiring, but it's weird. It does feel like Jefferson is having a down year. It feels like every game he could and should have gone for 200-plus yards. He's just always open. I know. Like guys, I've been kind of sitting on this take for a while, and you guys can call me crazy, but, like, I'm going to say it. I think Jefferson has a better chance of becoming the best receiver of all time than he does of not becoming the best receiver of all time. Like, I truly think he is that special. Like, what he has done for this football team has been – it has been unbelievable. Like, just the culture he brings. He's a great leader. There is no diva-ness around him. Like, and I feel like we do this all the time, and as fans, I feel like we do this especially, is like we undervalue and we underrate all-time great players. Like, in my opinion, Justin Jefferson is underrated. I know it, like, it's undisputed. You ask any NFL fan who's the best receiver in the league, it's Justin Jefferson. They'll all say it. But I feel like he is underrated. If you guys are kind of picking up when I'm going down, like, yeah, he is the best receiver in the league, but he's not just that. Like, I think he's the best receiver of this decade. I think he's got a chance to be the best receiver of all time. Like, he is truly, truly that special. Guys, go watch the film on him. He makes every cornerback in the league look so stupid on every single route he runs. So, it's Roger, send it 5, saying if you do a super chat, you will get ahead. Yeah, that's a good point, Raj. Shout out to you, man. Let me look. Maybe just Garrett's. Harvey saying, I'm really glad we re-signed him. Yeah, I am too, man. I am too. And it's so funny. Like, we gave a receiver $34 million a year, and, like, I honestly feel like he's underpaid. Like, I feel like he should be getting $40 million a year. Like, he is that much better than the next best guy. But shout out to Raj, man. We appreciate you. Alan D is saying JJ will retire above Moss. Yeah, that'd be great. Harvey saying, wow, 41,000 subs by next watch party. We got a chance, man. We got a chance. I think Jefferson is going to get the most yards in 5 seasons on Sunday. Yeah, I think he's closing in on that. He's less than 100 away. Nah, but I promise you guys, man. Like, I guarantee you, 90% of the people watching right now, like, he is underrated. Like, you guys underrate him. I underrate him. Like, we don't really know how special this guy is until his career is done. Like, also this, like, I always tell you guys, like, enjoy the ride, enjoy the era we're playing it or watching right now. Like, enjoy watching one of the best talents we have ever seen in the National Football League ever in Justin Jefferson. This guy was a 3-star recruit, like a 3-star recruit coming out of high school, and he is that good. He is underrated. Like, I will say that confidently. Justin Jefferson is underrated. Yo. Yeah, that's cool. Appreciate it. Yeah. Travinsky saying JJ is amazing. He on the road to Randy Moss. He is being held almost every down. Yeah, it's also true, man. Like, if you also take all the yards he's held on, he's probably already got the most yards throughout 5 seasons in the NFL. And that's also with him getting hurt half of last season. And he's going to shatter that record halfway through this year. Like, he really, and also the way he takes care of his body. I know we talk about, like, unbreakable records in the NFL. Like, Jerry Rice's is probably number 1 of all-time receiving yards. I think Jefferson's got a chance. He is guys, keep this in mind. He is averaging 10 more yards per game than who is second in most receiving yards per game. It is insane, like, what he has done. So, just don't take it for granted what we watch every single Sunday. Like, he is a special talent, man. Like, really, really is. And honestly, I honestly might do a video soon. Justin Jefferson's underrated. And I know a lot of people be like, man, what is he talking about? Everybody thinks Jefferson's the best. So, we'll talk about it. But we're going to dive into this mailbag right now. Going to hashtag Vikings. And Matt, great question. I was actually thinking about that. We'll talk about that as well. But let's dive into it. Mailbag and how the Vikes beat the Jags. The Minnesota Vikings are going to dismantle the Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday if they do this. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chad Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, a little mailbag at the tail half, and then we're going to start off with talking about this game coming your way tomorrow. But before we dive into that, just got to give a thank you to you guys. We're already closing in on 41,000 subs, which is an awesome milestone. I'm actually going to look up real quick. Best Vikings to wear 41. I'm pretty sure one of my favorite players of all time. I don't want to say it right now. As Anthony Harris. Yeah, let's do it for Anthony Harris. Hit 41K for Anthony Harris before game time this Sunday. I would really appreciate it. All right, step number 1. How do the Vikings dismantle the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend? Well, you have an offensive masterclass versus one of the worst defenses in the NFL. This game, the Vikings want to drop 30+. It's going to come down to that man right there, Kevin O'Connell. It's going to come down to Sam Darnold. But if they both do their jobs, I think it's going to be an 30+ game, at least from this offense, because you're going against one of the worst defenses in the league. Now, points per game, they're 30th. Yards per game, the 31st. Pass yards per game, the 31st. Like, this literally looks like Ed Donatell's defense when I used to show you guys the stats a couple years ago about how bad they were in terms of their statistical rankings, and also third down percentage. They're almost giving up a 50% conversion rate. Like, they are really, really bad defensively. And, these 4 guys right here, shout out to producer Tex for this graphic. This is hot. All 4 of these guys under 27 years old. Like, honestly, I think this is a game where you almost use Justin Jefferson a little bit more as a decoy. Like, you let Aaron Jones, Addison, TJ Hawkinson, let them all eat. I wouldn't be upset if we look up at the end of the game, fourth quarter, it's like, oh, Jefferson's got 30 yards? How the hell did that happen? But you also look at the stats like, oh, Addison's got 100. Hawkinson's got 75. Like, Aaron Jones has, 150 total yards on the game. So, really let these guys eat. And then, step number 2 for defensively, let's just raise hell for whoever is in at quarterback. Probably by the time you're seeing this, we already have an answer for that, whether that's Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence. But I honestly don't care who it is. This Vikings defense needs to continue what they did last week versus the Colts, as they were awesome. They held the Colts to 0 red zone possessions. They did not reach the Vikings 20-yard line one time last week. Held them to 6 total points. Held them to 229 total yards and only 13 first downs. All that resulted in a negative EPA per play. They were unbelievable. And this is a chance. Doug Peterson's going to be aggressive because they're 2-7. He has nothing to lose. He's about to get fired anyway, so expect a lot of trick plays this weekend. But, you got to look at a couple guys here, and I'm going to look at Jonathan Grenard. Even though the 2 sacks came, at the very end of the Colts game, he was flying all around the field. He looked awesome. I talk about the Vikings not having a blue chipper defensively. I think I might need to walk that take back because this guy right here is a blue chipper. Like, he is truly that good. I think, pretty sure he's number 1 in pressures in the NFL right now. He is awesome at getting to the quarterback. He's great against the run. He plays so freaking hard, too. And also, this is the man who breaks down the defense every single pregame. Like, he is the leader of that unit. So watch out for number 58. They have another big game this weekend. Then also this guy, the young gun. Let's get Dallas Turner a sack this weekend. I don't care if it's a scheme sack where the quarterback runs right into him. I just want Turner to get home because he is a truly special talent, and I think he's one of those guys where it's like if he gets home to the quarterback a couple times and he has 2 sacks, like I feel like that confidence he would have because, just playing basketball growing up, like even though if I didn't have like a monster game in my opinion, if I went back and I looked at the stat sheet and I was like, oh, I had, 15 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, but I didn't feel like I played well. Like, if you look at the stat sheet, that can almost kind of serve as some self-confidence for yourself. So, B-Flow, get this man a sack this weekend. And, step number 3 for me, put the NFL back on notice with what is cooking in Minnesota. Because the Colin Cowherds, the Nick Wrights, the Stephen A. Smiths, all these big talking media heads just have no idea what the Vikings are cooking up. And Colin Cowherd, he put out his top 10 teams of the NFL this past week. And it was one of the worst lists I've ever seen in my life. Number 10, the Green Bay Packers. If I'm mistaken, the Vikings went into Lambeau and smacked around Green Bay back in week 4. They beat the Niners in week 3. They have a way better resume than the Chargers, Steelers, and Eagles. And still, they get disrespected. So I ask you guys this question. Fill in the blank for me. The Vikings are the blank best team in the NFL. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. I think they're the 5th best team. And you just naturally got to put the Lions, and then you got the 3 AFC teams and the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs. But I think the Vikings are the 2nd best team in the NFC. But still, people just still don't believe in them. So you guys let me know. Vikings are the blank best team in the NFL. Coming up next, we got our mailbag where I answer your guys' questions. This is my favorite part of the week. You guys have to offer just around the corner. But before we do so, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor. That is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app today, use promo code Chat Sports. You guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today, and you guys will get some sweet deals on whatever ticket it is to whatever event you may be going to. And they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite feature of the Game Time app is actually the Views from Your Seat feature, which gets you a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. And they also have their lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Garrett Russborough coming in, $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Saying the Vikings will be fine. The offseason will be very interesting. If Ingram/Bradbury in purple next season, I will start a riot. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think the Vikes are going to, target interior offensive linemen this free agency class. But I already actually have my number 1 free agent target for the Vikes. It's going to be DJ Reed. I think he's the most underrated corner in the league. If you guys have been watching this channel, I've been calling him a top 10, top 5 corner. I just feel like a lot of it goes, a lot of the love and attention of that Jets secondary does go towards Sauce Gardner. And I think it's honestly just because his freaking first name is Sauce. So, I would go DJ Reed as my number 1 free agent target. I also asked Garrett, what are your thoughts on the deadline? He said the Vikes will be fine. I'm kind of in the same boat. If they didn't go trade for a left tackle previously and, they stayed put yesterday, I would be a little upset. But Cam Robinson, Cam Akers, those were the trades the Vikes made. But let's kick it to Roger Bong, $5, saying the Vikings have been a bottom team for most of my life. But the Wilfs and their staff, facilities, team are now top of the league. Yeah, I mean, the report cards come out every single year, And the Vikings are always first, second, or first in every single category, like facilities, dining hall, like everything about the Minnesota Vikings is truly a Class A organization, honestly, a plus organization. So, Roger, I hear you. And also, I think this is a big reason why we were able to get, some of these bigger name free agents like Sam Darnold came here, Aaron Jones, Grenard, Van Ginkel, like Cashman. They all decided to come play for the Minnesota Vikings. And I think that all starts at the top with the Wilfs. They're a great ownership group, a great ownership family. So really want to give some love to them on today's show. Vikings fan number 1, shout out to you, man. Thanks for watching. Saying Vikings, this is the only year the Vikings have a chance to make the Super Bowl. I actually disagree with you. I think this is the first year of many where the Vikings are going to be contenders. Like, I think they viewed their Super Bowl window as years 1 through 5 while J.J. McCarthy is on his rookie contract. Like, even if they decide let Sam Darnold go, bring in J.J., like, I still feel like next year we are a Super Bowl contending team because you guys will realize this. We are going to be big spenders next free agency, and we are going to stack this roster. JJ on a rookie deal, ton of weapons already locked up. I think defensively they're going to really hit it hard in free agency yet again. And then it's just Flores and O'Connell. Like, can they get it done? So, I hear what you're saying, Vikings fan. I think they're Super Bowl contender this year, but I really think this is just like kind of the base year for the Minnesota Vikings. And then we're really going to see that next step up over the next couple of seasons. Shout out to Rocky. Next question saying, #Vikings. What is the deal with Reisner? I honestly don't have a good answer for you. Ed Ingram actually graded out as like an 80-plus overall, according to PFF versus the Colts, which I thought was kind of ludicrous. But, I think Reisner's going to go in there immediately once Ingram has a bad game. But also I feel like the Vikings coaching staff may be saying, like, do we want – like, because if they bench Ingram, like, he's done. Like, he's going to kill all of his confidence. So – I really don't know what the deal is with Reisner. I'm honestly cool with Ingram rolling out there as a starting right guard for the rest of the season. But, again, like, we'll have to wait and see how the coaching staff plays that one. And Mac coming in saying, did you notice that on all 3 of Darnold's touchdowns, Oliver, Naylor, and Addison were the exact plays he missed wide open the previous 2 weeks? I did not notice that. And Mac, I'm going to go back and watch those. Thank you for giving me that heads up. I appreciate that. Wow, shout out to you. I'm definitely going to go look at that. And also, you know what I may do? Actually, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. You guys remember that fourth quarter play? Jefferson, or Darnold, when he threw that interception targeting Justin Jefferson when Addison was wide open? A little prediction here, and shout out to M-Mac for this one. I bet you the Vikings score on that play this weekend, and it's going to be a deep shot to Addison. That is great by M-Mac. Appreciate you, man. That's awesome. Harvey saying, how many seasons of pure football would you take if the Vikings win the Super Bowl this year? Oh, man, that is a question, Harvey. So are we talking like you're a bottom feeder, like you're like the Carolina Panthers level? I'll kind of frame it as that. The Vikings winning a Super Bowl this season would absolutely move mountains for me. Man, you guys are really stumping me right here. I'm gonna go 7 years. No, I'm gonna go 5 years. I don't know if I could do 7 years of being the Panthers. I'm gonna go 5 years. Yeah, that would be my answer. But then again, like, actually no. Harvey, I'm gonna say no years. I don't want to guarantee a Super Bowl to have a bunch of shitty years like you were saying the years after. I'm gonna go no years. I want to do it the easy or the hard way and get it done. But Harvey, I'm just twisting your chain a little bit. Appreciate you. And Mac saying O'Connell needs to find a way to get Robinson a touchdown versus the Jags. That would be awesome. The only thing is like, I guess you could put 6 offensive linemen in there, and then you would just have to call out number 74 as eligible. I bet you O'Connell. I bet you he's got something in store, though. I don't know if it's a touchdown. Maybe, do you guys remember the Ben Johnson play where he kind of threw the throwback to Penei Sewell? I got 2 plays this weekend to keep your eyes out for. The Addison touchdown on the interception that Darnold threw to Jefferson, and then watch out for the pitchback pass to Cam Robinson. Those are the two plays I think O'Connell's going to go to this weekend versus the Jags. But we do have a first-time super chatter, Andy Carr. Appreciate you, man. First-timer. Shout out to you. Saying, I think we should start passing the ball to Ed Ingram and handing the ball to our backup center on the 1-yard line when we start to pull away. Start passing the ball to Ingram, handing the ball off to our backup center. So you kind of want the Vikes to kind of play some FU football against the Jags. Andy, I don't hate the idea. I'm going to stick to my bold prediction, though. An offensive lineman for the Vikings scores a touchdown this weekend. Hopefully it's Cam Robinson. Andy, that's hilarious. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. But you guys let me know who you got this weekend. Vikes take on the Jags. Give me a V for the Vikes, or give me a J for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you guys do want to give me a follow on Twitter, there it is, at Pat Sieps. Give me a follow over there. I'll give you guys a follow right back. But appreciate you guys for watching today's show. See you next time. SKOL Vikes. Alrighty. Oh, Roger, you know Kevin O'Connell is going to dial up a Justin Jefferson pass this weekend. You know it. You know it. I do want to say thank you for everybody who tuned in. We go live every Wednesday. Fortunately, we do have to sign off here. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be live an hour before kickoff this weekend. It's going to be a ton of fun. Can't wait to break it down with you guys. So, we will see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes.